Well, hello, hello. Welcome back and welcome to the Ingy Pink podcast. I am your host, Ingrid Pinkin, aka Ingy Pink, aka IP. And today we're going to talk about the rise of women over 40 in politics. So I thought about this because before I came to from the West Coast to the East Coast, I actually went to an event for my brother-in-law. They were honoring him. Woo-hoo! But there were a couple of people there that I know were around my seasonage, and they were heavily into, of course, into politics. So I thought that this might be interesting. I noticed that there were not a lot of um, younger people that were there that were actually into politics, and I thought that this might be an interesting topic to actually discuss. We had discussed earlier in some of my other podcasts regarding women in corporate America and things like that. So, as you know, I was a six-figure executive, and now I have branched off into doing my own things. I am an entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur. So I'm an entrepreneur and have my hand in quite a few things. But I thought that this was very interesting, an interesting topic. So I wanted to talk about that and about how that's particularly relevant in today's society. The increasing number of women over 40 who are entering politics, right? They are going later as, 41, 42, blah 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 and up, of course. I think that we should talk about the reasons behind this trends, maybe some of the challenges that these women face, and maybe the impact that they're having on the political landscape as a whole, right? So let's talk about that. I think the reason behind the trend in recent years is that we've seen a significant increase in women over the age of 40 running for public office. And in my opinion, there's several reasons behind this trend, including the Me Too movement. The Me Too movement has empowered us as women to speak out against sexual harassment. Of course, you know what the Me Too movement is. They talk about sexual harassment, assault, and it's inspired women in my age bracket, 40 plus age bracket, to take action in those areas of their lives, right? So that includes politics, because in order to be able to do that, you have to be able to make change, right? So in your own backyard, if you're standing for that and you're saying it is me too, this happened to me, or I know someone, or it was my sister, my cousin, my best friend who is a woman, you have to know you're saying, I want to make change. And how do you make change? Hey, legislation, laws, change things. That's how you make change. You let your voice be heard. I also think it's the 2016, the presidential election was a wake up call for many women who felt their voices weren't being heard in the political process. So as a result, they're taking matters into their own hands and they're running for office themselves. They're saying, you know what? I don't like how that turned out. Whether you were for or pro or anything, I have no opinion in that. We're not discussing that specifically. But I just wanted to say that as a result of that, more women are taking matters into their own hands. And there's demographic changes. The population is aging. And there are now more women over 40 than ever before, So the demographic shift is leading to a greater representation in women in politics. So it's leading to that. And I think that that is also the reason why we have more of us seasoned women in politics. Let's talk about some of the challenges that faces. So, the challenge faced by women over 40 in politics, think about fundraising, and running for political office can be expensive. We all know this. There have been statistics about that. They talked about that in the media quite a bit about how much money, quote unquote, and I'm doing air quotes, you guys can't see me, but that is being raised by people that are running and in the political arena. And if you think about it, because it can be expensive, sometimes women over 40 have less access to fundraising networks and resources than their male counterparts. That's statistically. We know that. Remember, we talked about even in the corporate arena that two people doing the same job, one male and one female, sometimes the male is paid a higher salary. And so that is being reflected in the political arena as well. How about balancing work and life family responsibilities for us over 40 that may be still in the workforce? And the women may have the financial family responsibilities that make it harder for them to dedicate the time and energy to run for political office. So women, the burden of being the neck that supports the head, or being the person that is the caregiver in the home, you have a full-time job and you're trying to run for political office. All of those dynamics, I know that, hey, I'm really quick to say, hey, I'm every woman, but that also take a strain on giving what you're passionate about, which is making change. That can put some strain on every other area of your life. So that balance, sometimes that dynamics, that shifting can cause other things to happen in other areas of your life, right? So we acknowledge that as well. The last thing is dealing with sexism and harassment. Of course, women over 40, we may face the sexism and harassment in the political arena, which can be discouraging and make it harder for us to succeed in that, in the political, as we're talking, what we're talking about as far as the political arena, running for office, things like that. The thing, we have to have this super magnificent support system, because when we come up against those things, as you are jumping 10 toes down into making change, whether it is in your local community, your city, your county, or your state, or even federal wise, when you think about that, the support that we need as women in the background to help us deal with some of these challenges has to be extraordinary. It has to be over the top, right? For us to be able to be successful and stand in an arena that they're saying, hey, what do you want? What are you doing here? You don't belong here, right? So not everyone is that way. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about just it as a general overview, and history wise, right? I did not see a whole lot of women when the United States forefathers were signing the Declaration of Independence. I didn't see a woman's signature on there. So we're talking historically of what has been acceptable in that arena when it comes to politics. That's what I'm talking about. So what's the impact of women over 40 in politics? Despite the increasing number of women over 40 in politics, they still face significant, of course, challenges that we have addressed. We want to talk about changing the face of politics. Women over 40 bring a new perspective and experiences to the political area, which can help to broaden the scope of political discourse and decision making, right? So they're bringing this experience, the perspectives of part of this, but this has affected me in this way. And hey, I'm speaking as a voice from the outside looking in, and I can tell you what someone who may have been in this arena does not look like me, what they do not understand. So, also empowering other women. Women over 40 in politics are role models for other women. Us in politics can inspire other women to run for office and get involved in the political process. Why not be the person that breaks that glass ceiling? You burst open through that. There has been so many women. Think about the first woman that burst through that glass ceiling and everything that she had to go through so that other women that I saw and that I met and that I interacted with that were passionate about the changes that they were making and that they were discussing and that they were talking about just at this gala that they were being honored at. How dynamic when you can think about just long ago, they were not that many. There was not that many. Their voices were silenced, but now it's like we are standing, we are here, hear us roar, right? So that is showing the next generation, those that are coming after these dynamic women, hey, you know what? It is limitless. You go for that. You want to do that? You want to be a politician, you want to be a senator, you want to be a vice president, you want to be all of these things, you can go do that. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing is stopping you. They're also addressing issues that matter to women. Women over 40 are more likely to prioritize issues that matter to women, such as reproductive rights, equal pay, and affordable childcare. Those become priorities. Why? Because they're women. They affect them in one way or another at different aspects of their lives. Those things have affected them. So they want to make changes in those areas. I'm saying that I want us to support and pay attention to who's running, stand for, what do they support, what are they passionate about. Let's get behind them as women ourselves. If you're a woman and you're listening to me, let's get behind them. If you're a man and you're listening to me and you believe in things that affect maybe your wife or your mother or your sister or that very, very close friend of yours, your girlfriend, fiance, whoever that is, hey, support that woman that is coming to say, hey, this is what I believe. This is where I stand. And if you vote me in, this is the difference that I will make. These are the things that I will stand for. And trust me, going in, they absolutely know what they are going to be up against. And I will tell you something about us women, we are resilient. How many women do you know that have multiple hats in life? Wife, mother, corporate executive, career, job. Sometimes we're the caregivers of not just our children, but our parents, sometimes our in-laws, sometimes our cousins, extended families. If somebody where we can be foster mothers, we can be adoptive mothers, we can care for everyone else. We have numerous hats, but we still give each and every one of those hats, when we put it on, we're a 100%. As much as we can give, we give in that area. Women, we are built to do that. Do not stand behind us when we say, you know what we can do outside of the political arena? Just imagine what we can do inside. when we get inside how much value these amazing women can bring to our political system. I'm standing 10 toes down with them. These women that I met blew me away with everything. And they were so approachable and sweet and nice. But I know that when they got up there and they accepted their awards and their recognitions, they talked about how things affected them and the reason why they got into the arena of, of the political arena. And what was an awe for me, everybody, when they stood up there and talked, we were all like glued to what they were saying because all of the we could resonate with that. Even the men there were just like, yep, because they could think about, as I said, someone that was a female that was close to them, that they could resonate with what these people were saying. These women, these dynamic and amazing women were saying. So I want to say that the rise of women over 40 in politics is a trend that is changing the face of politics and empowering women. If you don't know anything about me, if you don't know anything else about me, because I've told you a few things, but if you don't know anything else about me, I am all about women empowerment. One of my businesses, we donate to a women's empowerment organization. I am all about resource sharing, empowering all of the dynamic women that are in the world. I'm about empowering them to success, whatever it is that I can do to help. So this resonated so much with me. But while they still face significant changes, their presence in the political arena is critical for ensuring that women's voices are heard and that issues that matter to women are addressed. And in closing, I just want to say that I hope that this podcast has provided valuable insights to this trend and impact that it's having on society. I want to thank you so much for tuning in to the Ingy Pink podcast. I know that you don't have to be here with me. You could be doing anything else. Matter of fact, you could be doing something else while you're listening to this podcast, but you decided to put this on and you decided to hear what little old me, just, woman over here, just giving her opinion. You decided to come over here and hear what I had to say. And I honor that. I appreciate that. I value who you are, your opinion, your view, what you think about it. So if you are listening to this on my Facebook or on my YouTube, please leave me a comment. Please let me know what your thoughts are. I want to interact with you. I want to know what you think about women over 40 in politics. This is something that I'm passionate about. This is something that I definitely support. I am all about empowering women. And this just blew me away when I saw this and decided to put this podcast together. And I am happy to kind of be in my new space, to be able to share this with you guys. And every Tuesday, so we're not going to do Thursdays anymore because I have some other stuff that's working. And so I had to kind of streamline this a little bit. But every Tuesday, I know this was a little late, but every Tuesday at 9 a.m., come over here and hang out with me for, anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes at the most. Come hang out with me. I would love to talk to you, to interact with you, and to hear your view about all of this. So again, if no one has told you today, you are awesome. Until we talk again, goodbye.